It's Jennifer Herndon. Welcome. Today we are going to talk about how to set up interest lists on Facebook and why you should be doing it as an online business owner. First, let's talk about what are interest lists. Interest lists allow you to create a separate news feed for any specific interest you have. Interest lists have been likened to creating your own personal newspaper, which is why they are creating such a big wave of interest in Facebook, because you're allowed to really have control over what you see and don't see in your news feed. For example, if you are interested in social media, you can create a list called Social Media Resources. You can add all the Facebook pages you go to for social media information to the list that you create. You can also add personal profiles to the list if the person that you want to add has the subscribe feature turned on. So if you use your personal profile for business at all, this is another great reason to have the subscribe feature turned on so that people are able to add you to their interest list and therefore see you when they look at that list and have your post pulled into their newsfeed. When you click on the name of your interest list, you will see in your newsfeed only posts from the pages and or profiles that you have added to that list. So as you can see, when you're on your home newsfeed of your Facebook, over on the left-hand sidebar, you'll see a heading that says Interest. And underneath that heading, you will see all of the lists that you have either subscribed to or created. When you click on one of those lists, then it's going to pull up for you a newsfeed that contains only the pages or profiles that you have added to the list there. When you add a page or profile to your interest list, Facebook also pulls the post from that page or profile into your main news feed, which is great news because not only are you then showing up when someone clicks on their specific interest list, but you're also showing up in their main news feed, which is exactly what you want to do. Now, when you make an interest list, you'll have an option of making it public, only visible to your friends, or private. If you make your interest list public, anyone can subscribe to your list. And as you saw in the screenshot, if they subscribe to your list, then that list shows up under their interest heading on their main Facebook newsfeed page. Why should you create an interest list? Well, as an online business owner, for example, let's say you're a social media expert. You'll want to create a social media resources interest list. You can add your Facebook page to that list and all the other social media experts' pages. You can then let your Facebook fans know that you've created a handy list for them to subscribe to that is their one-stop shop for all the social media resources that they'll need. Now you've made it easy for them. They can subscribe to the list that you've created. They don't have to go to the trouble of creating their own list and pulling up all the pages, even pages that you may know about as an expert that they don't know about. They don't have to worry about it because you've created the list for them. And, especially important, there's no chance that they'll leave you off of any list that they might have created. Now it's your responsibility to provide quality content for your page so that when they're looking at that list you've created, you're standing out as a real expert and superstar in the field of social media resources. Of course, many of your fans will create their own list, so you'll want to make sure to encourage them to add you to their list, as I've done here. And as you can see over on the right here is a post that I put on my Facebook page that just says, "Thank you for liking my page," and showing them how to go about adding me to their interest list, encouraging them to do that and telling them that I would be honored if they did do that. Let's now take a look at how to create an interest list. And for that, we're going to pop on over to Facebook, and I'll just take you through it here. Here is my main home news feed in Facebook, and we'll go over here as I told you on the left-hand side. You can see interest, and it has one page or one interest list that I subscribe to, one I've created, and then here it says add interest. So if you haven't created or subscribed to anything yet, you'll just have this add interest tab underneath the interest heading, and you want to go ahead and click on that. And what will happen when you click on that is it will pull up suggestions for you, which are suggestions of lists that other people in your market or your friends have created, and then just other popular lists that have a lot of subscribers down here. But that's not what we want to do right now, is subscribe to anyone else's list. We want to create our own. So let's go up here to the top middle of the page and just click on Create Lists. When you click on Create List, it pulls up all of the pages that you have liked. It also pulls up the pages that you subscribe to, all of your friends' personal profiles, and then also it gives you some suggestions over here if you want to make a list, for example, of books. It pulls up, it looks like different authors here that you could add to that list, and probably there's also book pages in there too. That's not what we want to do right now. We're going to create our own list. So let's come back up here to Pages, which is where we're going to start. We're just going to create that social media resources list that we talked about. And I'm going to scroll through here real quickly and pick some people that I know that I go to for social media resources. And I am not sliding anyone by skipping over you here. I am just going to pick some quickly. I will have to go back and edit this because I know there are more that I don't have in here. And I'll want to make sure I add myself to that list, because after all, I'm going to share this with my fans and ask them to subscribe to the list. So I want to make sure that I'm on there. So I've added myself to that list. And let's add Maury Smith. Go down here, just add a few more. As I said, I'm going to have to come back and redo this, but just for purposes of doing it quickly, I'm going to add some of the most obvious ones I see as I'm going through here. And then we will go ahead and create this list, and I will worry about adding more people later. Okay, once you've chosen the pages that you want, you could also go down and choose subscriptions. For example, I subscribe to Guy Kawasaki, and he obviously is a good resource, so I could add him on there too. I could also go into my friends' personal profiles. I'm not going to do that right now, and add some of them too if some of them provide me with really good content about social media from their personal profile pages. If we go down to the bottom here, you can see who I've selected to be on this list. You can take a look at that before you create the list, and if I see that I've missed somebody, I could go back up and say, oh, I wanted another person on there. For now, I'm just going to go with this, and we'll click on Next to go ahead and create the list. We'll choose a list name. We're going to call it Social Media Resources. And as I was talking about before, we'll talk about who can see this list. You could make it only you, a private list, or friends can see it and subscribe to it, or public, anyone can see it and subscribe to it. If one of my purposes is to have people looking to me as a social media expert, then I want this to be public, so anyone can subscribe to it. So I'm going to leave it public, click on Done. It loads up for me. And as you can see then, as we go back over here to, it's taken me back to my home news feed, and it shows me social media resources. Now what happens when I click on that list then, social media resources pops up here by me. I've created the list, and the only thing I'm going to see in this news feed then is posts from people that I have added to that list. You can see here I've got 9 people on the list right now. I've got people, they're going to recommend people over here that I might want to add to that list. So this is perfect. It's just what we talked about, sort of your own little newspaper of social media resources here. Another thing that you can do that you will want to encourage your fans to do is you see as you go through your list here, over here on the left, you'll see, let me pull it up here for you, you'll see a little pencil next to it. If you click on that little pencil, you could click on Add to Favorites. And instead of just being down here with all the other 100 interests lists you've created, if you click on Add to Favorites, it pulls it up here to the very top of your page with your news feed, your messages, and your events. And I've now got the social media resources list in my favorites. And I can even rearrange it and I can take it and move it up to the top if I wanted to. It can't be above your main news feed, but it can be the first thing right below there. So if I do that, then that's, the easiest and most obvious place to find it. So extra bonus, if you can get your fans to subscribe to your list or create their own list and move it right up here to the top, then you've really done a great thing there. So that's about as easy as it is on creating a list, and I hope that you can see some of the advantages of creating your own list and getting people to subscribe to it. What I've noticed from the just one list I've created is there are a lot of people subscribing to it that I don't even know, because they see that their friends or contacts or pages they like are on it, and they go ahead and subscribe to it, and that just gives me even more publicity and more of a chance to get in front of people that I don't know and put out my good content to them.
So I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you have any questions, just pop on over to my Facebook page at facebook.com/JenniferHerndonBiz. I also have an article on my blog that I wrote about creating and using Facebook interest list. You can see the bit.ly link to that article right below my Facebook page URL here on this slide. Please feel free to pop over there and ask me any questions you have about Facebook interest list in the comments. I'd be happy to get back to you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.